Hello everyone, this is Dr. Vignesh Vermeka, Assistant Professor of Geography. Welcome to e-learning classes of Geography from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, Hyderabad. In this video, we shall discuss about introduction to interior of the earth, internal structure of the earth, temperature, pressure and density of the earth's interior and rims of the earth. First, we will move with the introduction. The interior of the earth can be understood by both direct and indirect evidences. Most of our knowledge about the interior of the earth is based on estimates and inferences. Part of the information is obtained through direct observations and analysis of materials. The configuration of the surface of the earth is largely a product of the processes operating in the interior of the earth. Exogenic as well as endogenic processes are constantly shaping the landscape. The most easily available solid earth material is surface rock or the rocks from the mining areas. Besides mining, the scientists have taken up a number of projects to penetrate deeper depths to explore the conditions in the crustal portions of the earth's interior. This and many deep drilling projects have provided large volume of information through the analysis of material collected at different depths inside the earth. Volcanic eruption forms another source of obtaining direct information to know about Earth's interior. The following are the objectives of the present chapter. To explore the key concepts of the Earth structure, to know about sources to study the interior of the Earth, and to understand composition and structure of the Earth's interior. Now, we shall look into the structure of the Earth's interior. The structure of the Earth's interior is fundamentally divided into three layers, namely crust, mantle and core. The structure of the Earth can be defined in two ways, by mechanically or by chemically. Mechanically, it can be divided into lithosphere, asthenosphere, mesosphere, mesospheric mantle, outer core and the inner core. Chemically, Earth's interior can be divided into the crust, upper mantle, lower mantle, outer core and inner core. The crust forms only 1% of the volume of the earth, 84% constitutes of the mantle and 15% to 16% makes the core. The radius of the earth is estimated 6,371 kilometers. 98.5% of the crust is composed of just 8 elements. Oxygen is by far the most abundant element in the crust. This reflects the importance of the silicate minerals. As a large atom, oxygen occupies 93% of crustal volume. The figure on the screen discloses about the three layers of the Earth's interior, namely the crust, mantle and the core. First, we will move with the crust. The Earth's crust ranges from 5 to 70 kilometers in depth and is the outermost layer. It comprises of two layers, namely the thin part and the thick part. The thin part are the oceanic crust which underlie the ocean basins below 5 to 10 kilometers and are composed of dense iron, magnesium, silicate igneous rocks are also known as mafic rocks like basalt. The thicker crust is the continental crust, which is less denser and composed of sodium, potassium, aluminum silicate rocks also known as felsic rocks like granite. The rocks of the crust fall into two major categories, namely the Sial and the Saima. And this category was given by Suess, the famous geologist of Austria. It is estimated that Saima starts about 11 km below the Conrod discontinuity, a second order discontinuity in the crust. The uppermost mantle together with the crust constitutes the lithosphere. The figure on the screen discloses you about concentric layers of the earth, the crust, mantle and the core. The crust mantle boundary occurs as two physically different events. The first one, there is a discontinuity in the seismic velocity, which is most commonly known as the Moho-Roves's or Moho discontinuity. The cause of the Moho is thought to be a change in rock composition from rocks containing pagio-class feldspar and to rocks that contain no feldspar. Second one, in oceanic crust, there is a chemical discontinuity between ultramafic cumulatives and tectonized archbargites, which has been observed from deep parts of the oceanic crust that have been abducted onto the continental crust and preserved as ophiolite sequences. The discontinuity between the hydrosphere and the crust is termed as Conrod discontinuity. The lower part is a continuous zone of denser basaltic rocks forming the ocean floor, comprising mainly of silica and magnesium. It is therefore called as Saima. It has an average density of 3 grams per cubic centimeter. The Sial and the Saima together form the crust of the earth. Since the Sial is lighter than the Saima, the continents can be said to be floating on a sea of denser Saima. Many rocks making up Earth's crust formed less than 100 million years ago. However, the oldest known mineral grains are about 4.4 billion years old, indicating the Earth has had a solid crust for at least 4.4 billion years old. Now, we look into mantle, the second layer. The portion of the interior beyond the crust is called the mantle. The mantle is the thickest of Earth's layers and takes up 83% of Earth's volume. It extends down to about 2,900 kilometers from the crust to Earth's core. It is largely composed of a dark, dense, igneous rock called peridotite containing iron and magnesium. The mantle is about 2,900 kilometers thick. The discontinuity between the crust and the mantle is called as Moho-Roves's discontinuity or Moho discontinuity. It is separated from the crust by a boundary called Moho-Roves's discontinuity. That means the crust is separated with Mohorovicious discontinuity. The figure on the screen discloses about the Moho or Mohorovicious discontinuity separating crust with mantle. Mantle is divided into two parts. One, the upper mantle with a density of 3.4 to 4.4 grams per cubic centimeter extends down to 700 kilometers. The lower mantle having a density of 4.4 to 5.5 grams per cubic centimeter extends from 700 kilometers to 2,900 kilometers deep. The discontinuity between the upper mantle and the lower mantle is known as Repetti discontinuity. The portion of the mantle which is just below the lithosphere and the asthenosphere but above the core is called as mesosphere. The mantle has three distinct layers. One, a lower solid layer. Two, the asthenosphere which behaves plasticity or plastically and flows slowly. And the third is a solid upper layer. Partial melting within the asthenosphere generates magma, that is molten rock material, some of which rises to the surface because it is less dense than the surrounding material. The upper mantle and the crust make up the lithosphere, which is broken up into pieces called the crustal plates, which move over the asthenosphere. The interaction of these crustal plates is responsible for earthquakes, volcanic eruption, and the formation of mountain ranges and oceanic basins as well. As mentioned in the above lines, the mantle is divided into upper and lower mantle. And the upper and lower mantle is separated by a transition zone. The lowest part of the mantle next to the core mantle boundary. The mantle is composed of silicate rocks that are rich in iron and magnesium relative to the overlying crust. Although solid, the high temperatures within the mantle cause the silicate material to be sufficiently ductile that it can flow on very long time scale. Convection of the mantle is expressed at the surface through the motions of tectonic plates. Asthenosphere. The asthenosphere is the part of the mantle that flows and moves the plates of the earth. As there is intense and increasing pressure as one travels deeper into the mantle, the lower part of the mantle flows less easily than does the upper mantle. The chemical changes within the mantle may also be important to note here. The source of heat that drives plate tectonics is the primordial heat left over the planet's formation as well as the radioactive decay of uranium, thorium, potassium minerals and earth crust and in the mantle. Now, we will look into the third layer, the core. The inner core was discovered in 1936 by Lehmann and it is generally believed to be composed primarily of iron and some nickel. It is the innermost layer surrounding the Earth's center. Since this layer is able to transmit shear waves, that is, transverse seismic waves, it must be solid. Experimental evidence has at times been critical of crystal modules of the core. The core is also known as Barry sphere. It is separated from the mantle by a boundary called Weichert-Gutenberg discontinuity. It means the Weichert-Gutenberg discontinuity lies between the mantle and the core. Like mantle and the crust, core is also divided into two parts. The core consisting of two sublayers, namely the inner core and the outer core. The outer core, which is rich in iron, is in liquid state. It extends between 2,900 kilometers to 5,100 kilometers deep. The inner core, composed of nickel and ferrous, also called Fe, is solid in the state. The central core has very high temperature and pressure. It extends from 5,150 kilometers to center of the earth, that is 6,371 kilometers deep. The inner core is in solid state and the outer core is in the liquid state. The discontinuity between the upper core and the lower core is called as Lehmann discontinuity. Barysphere is sometimes used to refer the core of the earth or sometimes the whole interior part of the earth. The core is mostly iron with some nickel and takes up 16% of the earth's total value. The metallic core accounts for earth's magnetic field. Earth behaves as though it has a simple straight bar magnet at its center, with the south pole just below Canada and the north pole opposite, not quite coincident with the geographical poles. A compass needle's north pole points northwards because, unlike poles attract, Earth's magnetic pole in the Arctic must be the opposite type, south. Evidence of the Earth's change in magnetic polarity is found in the rocks. Scientists have found the rocks within Earth's crust formed at different times. The Earth's interior, temperature, pressure and density. These are sources to know about the knowledge of the Earth's interior. Temperature. Temperature rises with increasing in depth and it is observed in mines and deep wells. The eruption of molten lava from the Earth's interior supports that the temperature increases towards the center of the Earth. We will know about volcanic eruption in a separate chapter of this semester. In the beginning, this rate of increase of temperature is at an average rate of 1 degree Celsius for every 32 meters increase in depth. While in the upper 100 kilometers, the increase in temperature is at the rate of 12 degrees Celsius per kilometer, and in the next 300 kilometers, it is 20 degrees Celsius per kilometer. But going further deep, the rate reduces to mere 10 degrees Celsius per kilometer. Thus, it is assumed that the rate of increase of temperature beneath the surface is decreasing towards the center. Do not confuse rate of increase of temperature with the increase of temperature. The temperature is always increasing from Earth's surface toward the surface. I repeat this one. Thus, it is assumed that the rate of increase of temperature beneath the surface is decreasing towards the center. Do not confuse rate of increase of temperature with the increase of temperature. Temperature is always increasing from the Earth's surface towards the center. The temperature at the center is estimated to lie somewhere between 3000 degrees Celsius and 5000 degrees Celsius. Maybe that much higher due to the chemical reactions under high pressure conditions inside. Even in such a high temperature also, the materials at the center of the earth are in solid state because of heavy pressure of the overlaying materials. Pressure. Just like the temperature, the pressure is also increasing from the surface toward the center of the earth. It is due to the huge weight of the overlaying materials like rocks. It is estimated that in the deeper portions, the pressure is tremendously high, which will be nearly 3 to 4 million times more than the pressure of the atmosphere at mean sea level. At high temperature, the materials beneath will melt towards the center part of the earth, but due to high pressure, these molten materials acquire the properties of a solid and are probably in a plastic condition. Density. Due to increase in pressure and presence of heavier materials like nickel and iron towards the center, the density of the earth's layers also gets on increasing towards the center. The average density of the layers gets on increasing from crust to core, and it is nearly 4.5 grams per cubic centimeter at very center. So far, we have covered introduction to Earth's interior, internal structure of the Earth. In that, we have focused on crust, mantle and core, followed by temperature, pressure and density of the Earth's interior. Now, we shall look into about rims of the Earth. The area near the surface of the Earth can be divided into 4 interconnected spheres, namely lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere and biosphere. These 4 rims make up a complete system, in this case of life on Earth. Environmental scientists use this system to classify and study the organic and inorganic material found on the planet Earth. The names of the 4 spheres are derived from the Greek words for litho means stone, atmos means air or vapor, hydro means water and bio means life. The lithosphere. The lithosphere, sometimes called the geosphere, is made up of elements from the Earth's crust and upper mantle. This is the Earth's rough and rigid outer layer. The expression comes from the Greek word lithos, which means rocky. The lithosphere is divided into 15 tectonic plates that fit together around the Earth like a zagged puzzle, namely the African, Antarctic, Arabian, Australian, Caribbean, Caucasus, Eurasian, Indian, Juandi, Faka, Nazca, North American, Pacific, Philippine, Scotia and South American plates. These plates are not fixed, they are slowly moving apart. The friction created when these tectonic plates push against one another causes earthquakes, volcanoes and the formation of mountain and ocean trenches. We will focus about these formations in a separate chapter. The hydrosphere. The Earth's hydrosphere refers to all of the water on the planet. This is the water that can be found in the world's climate, soil, ice, seas, rivers, lakes and streams. On the Earth, water exists in all three stages like gas, liquid and solid, that is ice. More than 97% of the Earth's water is found in its oceans. The remainder is fresh water, 2/3 of which is frozen within the Earth's polar regions and mountain snowpacks. It is interesting to note that even though water covers the majority of the planet's surface, water accounts for a mere 0.023% of the Earth's total mass. The atmosphere. It is a mixture of gases that surrounds the Earth. 78% of the atmosphere is nitrogen, 21% is oxygen, and rest 1% consists of carbon dioxide, argon and other gases. Earth's atmosphere is divided into distinct layers based on altitude. The troposphere up to 18 kilometers, stratosphere 18 to 50 kilometers, mesosphere 50 to 85 kilometers, thermosphere 85 to 800 kilometers and exosphere above 800 kilometers. The biosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere and the lithosphere of the Earth together constitute the biosphere. The biosphere is made up of biomes, which are areas where the plants and animals of a similar nature can be found together. A desert with its cactus, sand and lizards is an example of a biome. A coral reef is another. All living species on the Earth are included in the biosphere. The world species number between 20 million and 100 million, divided into the 100 phyla that make up the 5 kingdoms of life. These species can be found almost anywhere on the planet. On the Earth, organisms can be found in the air, soil and water. In conclusion, in this unit, studied and learned the following: the basic concepts like the Earth as a solid body, Earth's interior, distinctive layering system along with discontinuities and characteristics as well. The most prominent discontinuity of the Mohorovicis discontinuity lies between crust and mantle, and that of Wenchert-Gunterman discontinuity marks the boundary between lower mantle and upper parts of the core. Last but not the least, focus was also laid on rims of the Earth. Thank you all.